Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I have a review for you from Image Comics. This is Saint Mercy, issue number 4. It is the last book in the series. It's written by John Zuur, Platten, art by Atilio Rojo, letters by Troy Peteri. Um, I'll show you off some of the art at the end of this comic. If you have, at the end of this review, this comic, if you have not, checked out this book, this being the last book in the series, I highly suggest going to pick it up. It's definitely going to be one of my top reads from this year. It has been since issue 1, and each issue has not failed. The complete story. It was really good. So let's get into the review, right? So it's a twofold story. One, it takes place in the Peruvian mountains like 500 years ago, and then the other part of the story is kind of like a western part, set in the 1800s, 1890s, somewhere there, cowboy times, right? Westerns. Um, so the first story we follow Totaliska, and she was being prepared as a sacrifice to one of the the Incan gods, and she there was like a whole dilemma in in her sacrifice where she couldn't really bear children, and the Incan the tribe leader was trying to trick the gods, like that could happen. Come to find out, the god was not tricked at all, and end up cursing this Incan civilization, and then all the gold that was tied to this civilization. But we kind of saw like the where the Incan god basically showed up and kind of like sent out all these, like he calls them his children, but they're like little demon zombie kind of ghouls, because they're almost like ghosts. But we do see I mean, he destroys that whole entire village pretty much, and we do see at the end of it like Totaliska and another like an Incan lady that grabs Totaliska trying to save her. In this issue, it starts off, and it's like the rest of that story, basically with them running off and trying to hide while the god and all his little children are just devouring the village. But I mean, you can't hide from a god, So he does find her, and Totaliska comes up with this thing. Hey, don't kill us. It wasn't us that was trying to trick you. I really did, and the book did show us that she was, she wanted to do the sacrifice. She was already had prepared her life for, being. She was going to be his wife in the afterlife, kind of thing. Um, so she comes up with this reasoning and stating that that when she becomes of age and she hits her womanhood, they call it in the book, but basically when she gets her period, she'll prove that she can have children, kind of thing, and if that happens, he can come back for her, and she'll complete the sacrifice and become one of you know his many wives. But it does fast forward into that day when she does get her womanhood. She does get it, and she sets up for the sacrifice. She does call the god, and and it looks like she's gonna go with the sacrifice, and something changes, and she's like, nope, I'm gonna live out my own life, and I'm gonna be who I want to be. No one's and she basically takes that sacrificial sword, and it's like a bleeder. You stab someone, and blood comes out, but she does stab herself, and then she flings herself off the cliff without performing the whole it was like a whole song and dance that went into a whole ritual. So he basically the curse continues, kind of thing. So then we jump forward with Saint Mercy, and she has already been supposedly killed, in present day, and we saw that because of the curse that she has been brought to back to life, and now that's what the rest of the book is her getting revenge on the people that killed her father, which was a preacher, and then a lot of different people in the village, including the sheriff that was kind of like her love interest, kind of thing. And she just comes back in badass fashion. She does go back and she grabs a couple things from the gold remembrance, what they left, and one of them being like a kind of looks like an old Incan axe. It's like a mix between a sword and an axe. Um, but she kind of goes through them like John Wick style, one after one. She does take out like, one of the like a couple different side guys, and eventually she makes it to like before she starts tackling the main guys, she kind of makes it over to this. It's the guy that sold out her father and Mercy, and that set the pirates, not the pirates, but the raiders or whatever, the bandits, towards her church so they could find that gold. So she kind of like torments him and stuff, and it even sets up with her, it looks like she's gonna kill him, but she just scares him and stuff. And eventually she does make it to like a I guess it would be the blacksmith of the town, and she requests that after he freaks out because she's got this massive like bleeder dagger that's sticking out of her chest, and she basically asks him to take it out after he removes it because now she can't die. She's reanimated with that curse. But she asked him to take it out. Once he does, like to, she wants it constructed into something else, with using the gold and the iron, from the blade and this and that. She says it has something to do with for the last guy basically. And the rest of the book is like this, assassin type sneaking around in the shadows. She does a couple of the guys she takes off. Like one, she shoots down with the rifle. She gets them like, like sniper style. Another guy, like eventually when she does get closer to town, she sneaks up and creeps up on like a couple other guys, just beheading them. Eventually it gets down to like the last two guys, like the main guy and then his number one guy that was working under him. And they were the two antagonists like during the whole book pretty much. But when she does go attack like the first in command or whatever, like she does kind of use this like the children from the the Incan god, and it's kind of like it's like she doesn't really use them. They don't really show up. It's like an illusion kind of thing. But the guy, he just sees like 10 of these like demon children running, and they are there because they do end up killing some of the smaller guys. But it's more like every time she shoots her gun, they see like when it does damage, they see like a demon chomping on that area they got shot. Because the guy in command, he ends up getting, she blows off his arm, and all he sees is like a demon child like run up and like bite it off. He doesn't see it get shot off. But eventually, after this like kind of ghoulish light show, if you will, like she does take out the first in command, just decapitating him, and then it's like this whole fight with the main guy, and he puts up a deadly fight. There's a couple times where like she walks up and she's talking to him, and he's like pow pow, and he does that thing that everybody wants to do, like why don't you just shoot them while they're talking kind of thing, and he does that like twice. It's so pimp. But like what like she just she's already dead and she's already been cursed, and he's just not getting it because like he goes to shoot her and she like goes into the mist and kind of she does end up getting the better of him, and she ends up coursing him into this graveyard area, and she finally kicks him into this graveyard, and it's got a casket already ready to go, but it has this seal and a lock that the locksmith had made from that dagger. It had the gold and the iron, and like supposedly that guy is going to be trapped in that coffin, like because that like the curse goes with the coffin because it has some of the gold or something like that. So instead of the coffin just going in the ground, it's kind of like technically the second it got buried, it teleported to this Incan afterlife where this god is not, anybody that touches this gold, they don't have a good end result kind of thing. A little bit after that, after everything's said and done, because she ends up, getting revenge on all the guilty parties. She does, she kind of, she visits the grave to the sheriff and kind of pays homage to that. And then after that she just shows that she takes his sheriff badge, and she starts to get on a wagon to like move on. And basically that's when the Incan god shows up, and he's like, hey look, I know Totolissa is alive inside you, that's how you're like living right now. And he was all like, can you please give her to me, she's bestowed to me kind of thing. And he's like, if you try and trick me, he was like, you're gonna have like a very unpleasant afterlife when you do end up, and it won't take long for you to end there. And after his idle threat, she's like, look, I'm not planning on doing anything weird, or I'm not trying to trick you or anything, but I have some like unfinished business or something like that. And she basically like, and she holds up like the sheriff's star, and she kind of looks at it for a second, and then like all of a sudden he kind of vanishes, I guess, giving his acceptance of her, of her mission, basically, because she kind of stated like, hey, I'm gonna live my life. When we're done, you can have both of us, kind of thing. And he kind of slinks away in the shadows and just disappears. But it does say that he does leave like alongside one of his children, like kind of like as a guardian or some extra eyes kind of thing. We don't really know. But that's pretty much where the book leaves off. I mean, the art all the way through was amazing. The story in a complete, 4 issue was just stellar, I'll show you off some of the art and I'll let you go on your way. Let's see if I can get my camera focused. Alright, there we go. Just a random. Most of this book is pretty, this issue is pretty, heavy on the action side. A lot of the other issues are more on the story side, but there's some more of the gore and violence. But hey guys, y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.